Hello dear children of class 8, welcome back to our e-learning class. Let's resume reading. Let us try and understand what we mean by this through two contrasting situations in the recent history of Nepal, a country that borders India on the north. Until quite recently, Nepal was a monarchy. That means kingship, where the king was having the absolute power. The previous constitution of Nepal, which had been adopted in 1990, reflected the fact that the final authority rested with the king. A people's movement in Nepal, underline this one. This sentence is quite important, underline. A people's movement in Nepal fought for several decades to establish democracy, and in 2006 they finally succeeded in putting an end to the powers of the king. Now the people have to write a new constitution to establish Nepal as a democracy. The reason that they do not want to continue with the previous constitution is because it does not reflect the ideals of the country that they want Nepal to be and that they have fought for. So in our previous lesson we have come to know that all democracy, that means the countries which are democratic in nature, that means they are following the democratic government, they must have a constitution. But all the countries which are having constitution, it is not at all mandatory for them to be democratic in nature. That means even that, for example, in this case only you can find that Nepal, it was having a type of monarchy type of government, but still then they were having a constitution. Now when the people, they have fought for the democracy and they have achieved that one, and they have just succeeded in putting an end to the powers of the king, they now just want a new constitution. That constitution must be following, or that constitution must be just providing them all the authorities and the rights with which they can live in peace and comfort and in harmony in their own country. As in the game of football, in which a change in the constitutive rule will change the game altogether, Nepal, by moving from a monarchy to a democratic government, needs to change all its constitutive rules in order to usher in a new society. Meaning of constitutive I have written on the board. Even the meaning of usher I have written it on the board. Before my class gets over, I will move aside, and at the time you can just check the meanings from there. So the meaning of constitutive is that forming part of something, the state of having the power or authority to form or establish something. This is the meaning of constitutive. And meaning of usher, to make an activity or progress begin. This is why the people of Nepal are in the process of writing a new constitution for the country. The caption alongside elaborates Nepal's struggle for democracy. The second important purpose of a constitution is to define the nature of a country's political system. Underline this one. Now here we are coming to the second purpose of the constitution. That means to define the nature of a country's political system. For example, Nepal's earlier constitution stated that the country was to be ruled by the king and his council of ministers. In countries that have adopted a democratic form of government or polity, the constitution plays a crucial role in laying out certain important guidelines that govern decision making within these societies. Meaning of polity also I have written on the board. An organized society. A state as a political entity. Now in a democracy we choose our leaders so that they can exercise power responsibly on our behalf. That means it is not possible for all of us to go to the parliament. It's not possible. That's why we have sent there the representatives, that means our representatives who will be taking the decision on behalf of us and will do some sort of justice. They will provide us privileges. They will safeguard our rights. However, there is always the possibility that these leaders might misuse their authority, and the constitution usually provides safeguards against this. Yes, I have just got the authority, I have got the power, I can do whatever I want. No, you are not having that authority. That's why the constitution is there, to check to put a check in your powers or in your authority. This misuse of authority can result in gross injustice, as demonstrated in the classroom situation below. Suresh is the class monitor. He is a bully. Bully meaning, you know, that a person who is having the habit of just disturbing others, beating others, creating some sort of disturbances, or having some sort of cruel habits, and mainly disturbing others, beating others without any reason. His classmates are not too fond of him. Mrs. Rao, the class teacher, has to leave the classroom on some urgent work. She asks Suresh to mind the class. Suresh starts speaking on Anil. Anil, today I am going to report you to Mrs. Rao. But what have I done? When Mrs. Rao returns to the class, ma'am, while you were away, Anil kept talking loudly and disturbing the class. You did not listen to me. Anil, you will have to stay back after school today and write, I will not disobey the class monitor 100 times. But ma'am, I did not do anything. So see here what sort of misuse the class monitor Suresh he has done. He has done with his authority. He has actually misused his power. He has misused the post or the authority of the post. That means, being the class monitor, unnecessarily he had just complained against Anil, who had done nothing. And as the class teacher, she has given the responsibility, she has just bestowed the responsibility on this class monitor. She has to listen to the class monitor, and as a result she has also punished this boy Anil. But here we can find that the misuse of power, misuse of authority. So children, in our next video we will just continue with this chapter. That means we will proceed with the next part of the chapter. So it's time to say you bye, but before that I am just moving aside. You check the meanings. Okay, the first one, polity, I have written a state as a political entity, semicolon, an organized society. Second one, constitutive, the state of having the power or authority to form or establish something. The third one, usher, to make an activity or process begin. Okay children, it's time to say you bye. Bye.